half your base pay every month for the rest of your life. That is the 20-year retirement a single promotion board can erase. 18 years in, twice passed over, and the law says you are out before you ever reach 20. But for a certain kind of officer, there is a back door out of that cliff that almost nobody mentions at commissioning, and it can save the whole pension.
Hey everyone, Fenrir here. The back door is going backward, on purpose. An officer can revert to enlisted to keep serving. That sounds like a demotion, and people stop listening right there.
We have walked the in-service money before, but this is the rule that flips the usual direction of a career on its head.
Hi all, I'm Jasmine. The up or out rule is the 1980 officer law forcing the decision. After 2 non-selections by promotion boards, you separate. You retire if eligible, or a board continues you.
It's Isabella. Picture a major stuck at that wall with 18 years in. Walk away now, and 20 years of retirement evaporates. That is a real person staring at a real cliff.
And here is the catch that decides everything. A direct commission officer who never enlisted usually cannot revert at all. The third door only opens for the prior enlisted.
It is also rare and it is branch specific. No officer is owed this. It is requested and discretionary. The exact rules differ across the Army, Navy, and Air Force.
There is a board-approved continuation in the middle, but it is discretionary, so put the 2 real choices side by side: walk away or revert. Separate now, and a pension under 20 years simply vanishes. Revert to enlisted if you came up that way and you served to 20 with the pension intact.
Look at the right side. Serve to 20, pension preserved. That is the door nobody draws for you, and it is the whole reason this video exists.
Jasmine, before we go on, there is one question that hides under every thread about this. Take it.
Yes, and it is the one people whisper. Can an officer really go back to enlisted just to make it to retirement, or is that a myth?
It is not a myth, and the proof is in the paycheck and the pension. But first, the part nobody warns you about. Is reverting actually the smart call, or just the desperate one? That fight is coming up next. So here is the fork worth arguing. A prior enlisted major, 18 years in, just got passed over a second time. He can revert to enlisted and grind out the last 2 years, or walk away and use the reserve and civilian route with a lifetime pension on the line. Fenrir thinks reverting is the obvious play, and Jasmine is not sure the math is that clean. Fenrir, make the case.
Reverting saves the pension, full stop. 18 years of work is sitting there. 2 more years as a senior enlisted soldier locks in retirement for life. You do not throw away a 20-year annuity over pride about the rank on your collar.
I'd push back on full stop. The Army version means you may enlist in the rank of sergeant and serve to retirement, but your day-to-day pay drops to an enlisted grade while you finish. That is 2 years of a real pay cut and a hit to your ego in front of people you used to outrank.
2 lean years against a 40-year pension? Not close.
It is closer than you think, and here is why. The reserve route can also reach a retirement. Affiliate with the Guard or Reserve and keep drilling. You can still earn a reserve pension paid later at age 60, often at your officer grade.
Hold on, let me steer this. Jasmine, does the reserve route guarantee 20 good years, or is that its own gamble?
It is its own gamble. You need a unit and you need the years to qualify. A reserve pension starts decades later, not the day you retire. For someone at 18 years active, that delay is the real cost.
That is my whole point. Reverting gives you an immediate active duty retirement at 20. The reserve route asks you to wait until 60 and hope the years line up. The bird in hand is the pension you can almost touch.
Before the verdict, the honest downside. Reverting is requested and discretionary, not owed. The branch can say no and you give up officer pay and an officer role for the finish.
Agreed, and that is the fair concession. If the branch approves it and you are within reach of 20, reverting is the surer path to a pension that starts immediately.
So here is the verdict, and the sources back it. For a prior enlisted officer within 2 or 3 years of 20, the smart play is to revert because it preserves an immediate active duty retirement that the reserve route only reaches later and only if the years cooperate. The reserve path wins when reversion is denied, when you are far from 20, or when keeping your officer grade matters more than starting the pension now.
$8,300 a month, gone the day you revert. That is the fear that stops people cold, so let us start there and follow the money all the way to the pension. You give up officer pay, and that loss is real. An O3 over 10 years draws about $8,300 a month in basic pay this year, and that number does not follow you down.
Right, but the fear leaves out the rescue. The years you already served do not vanish.
Exactly. Prior service counts toward the over 20 years pay step. Your years of service do not reset when you revert.
That is the piece people miss. Your pay entry base date carries every prior year forward. The clock does not start over, so you land in the senior longevity column, not at the bottom.
So here is the trade in plain dollars, line by line. Start with the officer paycheck, then take the cut. There is the cut. You trade down from about $8,300 to roughly $6,200 a month as a senior enlisted soldier over 20 years. $6,245 a month. That is the over 20 years E7 rate, not a recruit's pay, because your prior years bought you that step.
And the pay cut is the price of admission. The payoff is the pension you just protected. You retire in the highest grade you served in satisfactorily.
Here is the line that genuinely surprises people. Under 30 years total, a retiree who previously held a higher grade can apply to be advanced on the retired list to the highest grade they served satisfactorily.
Which can mean a prior officer who reverted ends up with retired pay computed at an officer grade, not the enlisted one they wore at the end. Not guaranteed, board determined, but very real.
So the story is not simply a demotion. It is 2 lean years to lock in a pension that may quietly pay you back at the rank you earned. That is a very different ending.
Last piece, and it is the honest one. This door is right for some people and flat wrong for others. Let us sort out who is who.
Take a real shape for it. A prior enlisted soldier, 18 years in, twice passed over. For them, the path is short, and the prize is a pension. For a direct commission lieutenant, this door does not even open, and that exact split is what one viewer kept circling back to in the comments.
Jasmine has been sitting on their question. Go ahead, this is the one half the comments are really asking.
Here it is. If I am a direct commission officer with no prior enlisted time, can I revert to enlisted just to reach my pension?
Best fit first, then we answer that. You came up enlisted, and you were within 2 or 3 years of 20.
And the decision really does come down to 2 questions. Did you come up enlisted, and are you near 20?
But notice it is a request, not a right. You apply in writing through your branch channel, which means the branch can still say no. So plan for that answer.
Wrong fit, plainly, a direct commission officer with no enlisted time. The statute that allows reverting is built around prior service, so for them the branch ends at separate or affiliate.
But the door closing is not the end of the road. The reserve or guard route can still carry you to a pension, paid later, often at your officer grade. That is the credible alternative for the wrong fit officer.
There is even a third option for some, so do not stop at 2. Apply to the warrant officer track, a technical expert lane that keeps you in uniform without the up or out clock of the regular officer corps.
If you know a prior enlisted officer staring down a second passover, send them this one line. Ask their finance office about reverting before they sign any separation paper.
Here is what I would actually do. Carry this home. Reverting to enlisted is not a fall from grace. For the right prior enlisted officer at the right moment, it is the surest hand on a pension they already half earned. Quick recap before we close. A twice passed over officer faces up or out, but a prior enlisted one has a third door: revert to enlisted and serve to a 20-year retirement.
The number I cannot unhear is the pay cut, about $8,300 down to $6,200 a month, traded for a pension that pays for decades.
So before your next finance appointment, pull your own pay entry base date. That single date decides which longevity column you would land in.
And wait until you see the warrant officer door next time, the lane that dodges the up or out clock and quietly out-earns the path most people assume is better.
If these in-service breakdowns help, subscribe and hit like so we can keep the military pay and retirement numbers current for you every year. Here is the one to chew on. If you were 18 years in and passed over, would you swallow the rank and revert, or walk away and bet on the reserves? This is Liam. Thanks for watching and signing off.